Welcome to another Arthritis Health Movement Improvement session where you learn to move differently so you can feel better. I'm Dr. Dave Sofer, physical therapist, and today we're going to be talking about improving your balance so you can improve your walking. Now, 80% of walking occurs on either one foot or the other. Only 20% of walking, normal healthy walking, occurs on both feet. So if you have a little trouble balancing on one foot or the other, it's going to affect your walking pattern, and then you're going to do either things like shuffle your feet or take shorter steps, or you're going to wind up kind of holding on to furniture or walls when you're walking around. And some people even stop walking a little bit altogether, or perhaps friends have told you that you look like you're limping. All of these things are common for people who feel a little bit uncomfortable standing on one foot or the other. So today we're going to go through some very fundamental, basic balance exercise training activities so that you can more easily, more comfortably stand on one foot and more comfortably then navigate your way through walking. Before we do that, just want to remind you that I have built for you for free a 10-minute a day full body strengthening program, 5 days a week, 10 minutes a day, all the major muscle groups of your body. So if you want to work on building that strength so you can get better and improve those joints, then give it a look. Download it by clicking on the link in the description and it'll be emailed right to your inbox. All right, let's get started. So we don't need any fancy equipment for today's activity. It's just going to be you and maybe something to hold on to for a little bit of balance if you're feeling at all off center. So always safety first. Make sure there's no falls. Make sure you're in a safe environment. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on a little bit of marching. So we're just going to lift one knee up to the hand and back down, and the other knee up to the hand and back down. And as you're doing this, I want you to think about moving slowly and smoothly. People often feel that kind of rush. If you feel like you're jumping that foot off the ground, try to slow down and lift just to the amount that you can. If you can get it up to your hand, great. If you can't, that's okay too. Start where you are and you build from there. Now, most people make the mistake of thinking about the leg that they're lifting when they're doing this exercise. But what I want you to think about is I want you to think about the leg that's connected to the ground, because that is the leg that's important. The leg that's in the air really isn't doing anything to help you. It's the one that's on the ground that's keeping you balanced. So I want you to think about, as you lift your right leg, think about driving your left foot into the ground so that way the right one can rise up. And then drive the right foot into the ground so the left one can rise up. And you'll feel that as you start to feel that connection to the ground, that you feel that you're pushing down into the ground with one leg to unweight the other leg, that your movements get a little bit smoother and a little bit less rushed. So we want to really find that smoothness and that calmness to this exercise rather than bigness, right? Rather than largesse. We don't need high knees. It's not so important. What's important is that you start to feel comfortable on one leg by finding your connection to the surface. So let's keep going for a few more repetitions, driving into the ground to lift, drive into the ground to lift, a few more times. Just to get comfortable, feel your body shift onto that one leg, drive that foot down and lift the other. Shift, drive down and lift. Shift, down, lift. Shift, drive down and lift. Excellent. Very good. So that's good for staying in place, but we want to do something similar, but with moving with lateral movements, because we're not always moving straight forward and back. So for this, we're going to do the same exact thing, but imagine that you have a box that you're stepping into. You want to step up over the box and in, and then up over the box and in with the other foot. All right, so the same idea. We're thinking about the foot that's on the ground, but as we do, we're lifting that one foot up and out, and then shifting the weight. This is the hard part, putting body weight on the other leg to lift and come up. What I see a lot of people like to do is they like to get that first leg and then they cheat that second leg over. So what you want to do is really think about getting your body weight over so that way you can lift and step up. And that shifting of the body weight is so important to successfully completing this exercise and getting more comfortable with moving your center of gravity over your base to unweight the leg. So we want to lift, step, move the center of gravity over the base, and then lift the opposite leg to come over. Good, let's go again. Lift, step, Move your center of gravity over your base, push that base down into the ground to unweight the other leg so you can bring that leg over. I would prefer a smaller movement that is smoother than something that's large and choppy and rushed, okay? Control is the name of the game here. So let's do a few more of those. We're gonna lift and step over and then shift the weight and then push down into the ground, unweight that leg to bring the other one over. We're gonna do again, push down into the ground to lift the leg, over, shift the weight, push down into the ground, lift, and come back. Let's do 2 more of those in each direction. Step, shift, lift. Good. We're gonna drive down, lift and step. We're gonna shift the weight, drive down, lift and step. One more time, doing great. Lift, step, over, shift the weight, lift, step, over, and relax. All right, excellent, well done. So we're getting the hang of getting on one foot and then getting on that one foot with a little bit of a shifting of the body weight. The next thing we're gonna do, we're actually gonna open the feet a little bit. We're gonna reach one arm out to the side, and we're gonna reach as far out to the side as you can. And I want you to feel how your body weight shifts off of your left foot and onto your right as you reach that right arm out. Good, and then come back. All we're doing is shifting, feeling that weight shift onto that and come back. So this is just practicing that shifting of the body weight as you come over and then come back. Good. Reach and shift and come back. Good. So this is really good. Complements the last exercise that we just did. Allows you to move the body over. If that last one was tough, you can focus a little bit more on this as you feel that weight shifting. We're gonna do 3 more. Reach out as far as you can, as far as you can, as far as you can, and back 2 more times. Shift as far as you can. Feel that the center of your body finds its way over the foot and come back. If you're reaching like this, where you're keeping all the weight on that opposite leg, you're not allowing your center of gravity to move over. Good, let's see what the other side can do. We're gonna take that arm, reach it out as far as you can, and then come back. And you might notice that on one side you're much more comfortable shifting over than on the other. And I'm a little bit more comfortable shifting to my right than I am shifting to my left. When I go to my left, my hips want to go to the right to keep that right leg on the ground. I have to actually actively work to compel myself to come over that left leg, a little something I need to practice. And you know, I don't feel that in day-to-day walking, but if I do something high level, like I go ice skating or I go skiing where I spend time on one leg, I definitely feel this left leg is not as solid under me. So for me, doing these fundamental movements will really help that bigger performance. But for you, if you're not skiing or ice skating, just walking, this is a great exercise to feel yourself shift your weight from center over that new base. And make sure that as you're shifting over, the leg that you're shifting to feels long and strong into the ground. You want to push that ground away to unweight the other leg. You don't want to collapse into that side. So we want to push the ground away as we reach. Good. We'll do 2 more. Reach that arm. Push the ground away. Feel your body line up. You can see my center, or the buttons of my shirt, line up over my left foot. And come on back. And one more time. Over and shift. Excellent, great work. Okay, now we're gonna work. This one's a little bit tricky, and this one probably the most dangerous of the ones that we're doing today. So if you have trouble with balancing, just be careful and start small. What you're gonna do is you're gonna turn your foot to point towards the back of you, and then you're gonna look behind you, and then you're gonna turn to look in front and come back. And I put this one in here because a lot of falls that I see from people is when they turn and they lose their balance and they stumble back and they go backwards, and it is such a dangerous type of fall. So I really spend a lot of time practicing this with my patients, where you turn the foot and then your eyes follow, and then you'll turn the eyes and then the foot will follow. Okay, you want to turn the foot first because it opens up the hips and it gives your body a base to move towards, and then move on to that new base. And then as we come back, if you turn the head first, there's that tendency to not have a base to step on. So always open the foot first, and then the eyes will follow. And since we're already open, we can move with the eyes because we already have that base to stand on, and then bring that foot back. Good. Slow and smooth movements. Make it smaller and smaller if you need to keep it smooth. No need to be big. If it's just this, that challenges you, then that is where you work. You start wherever you are and you build from there. Right? The goal is improvement, not perfection. And thank goodness for that. Okay, we're going to open up that foot. We're going to turn and look, and then we're going to come back and together. We're going to do 3 more of those. Turn the foot, look, shift the weight, and come back. And notice that this is all an exercise on figuring out what your base is. So we're standing on the left, driving that left into the floor, and stepping with the right, and then shifting onto that right, making the right the base, and then the left becomes light. And then we reverse. One more time. Turn, feel yourself pushing through the left, shifting onto the right, and then on the right and off of the left, and then the reverse to come back. Excellent. We're going to try the other direction, and we see if we feel the same thing. We're going to start by turning that left foot out, shifting the weight onto the left and turning the body and turning the head, and then coming back and together. Drive the right leg into the ground, turn that left foot out, turn the head to look, and then turn the head back and come back. Good. Take it nice and slow. Keep it nice and smooth. Turning as we go. Turning back, and make sure you have something around you just in case you get a little balance check that you're not going to fall. Safety first, safety first, safety first. Okay, turn the foot, turn the head. Good, and always thinking about where your center is and what your base is that you're shifting toward. So now we're starting weight on the right foot so you can unload the left as you turn. Once that left foot hits the ground, we're shifting our center over a new base, which is the left foot, so we can turn. And then we're shifting our center back onto that right foot so we can turn back. One more time. Put weight through that right foot so we can unload the left. And then we shift the weight onto the left as we turn. And then we turn and find our way back. Excellent. Very good. All right, so now we've worked lifting, we've worked shifting, we've worked twisting, and we've worked reaching. So we've actually covered a lot of ground. There's one more thing I want to cover, and that is narrow base of support. So very frequently, people get tripped up when their feet are a little bit too in line. If you imagine if you sat on a chair where all the legs were pretty close together, that chair would be unstable. So people feel more comfortable in a wider base. But you want to be able to balance on this narrow base. So we're going to start with just feet together and hands across your belly or your chest and see how you're comfortable. And if you're comfortable standing there, then all you're going to do is slide one foot forward so it's heel to the middle of your foot. Okay, and if you're comfortable balancing there, we're going to slide that right foot forward so it's heel right next to your big toe. And if you're comfortable there, we're going to slide that foot forward more and a little bit over so it's a heel-toe position where you're in line as though you were standing on a tightrope in the circus. All right? And then we'll come back. And I want you to see which of those you feel reasonably comfortable with. Okay? And this is very variable for different people. All right? So if you feel like just the heel to the midfoot, you feel a little bit off balance, then we're just going to work on that. If you feel like you can go all the way to heel toe, that's where we're going to work for there. And the exercise that we're going to do is we're going to keep one leg grounded. So I'm going to keep my left leg grounded, and I'm going to bring my right foot heel to toe. And then I'm going to bring my right foot back toe to heel. And so I'm shifting weight onto my left. I'm keeping my left long and strong into the floor, lifting the right. I'm placing that heel down to the toe. And then as I come back, I'm still grounding that left leg, shifting, and putting the weight back. Okay, if heel to toe is very complicated for you, which it is, that's the most difficult thing that we're doing, you can just do heel to midfoot, and then ground that left foot, slide the foot back, so then it's your big toe back to your opposite heel. So you'll slide forward, so it's just a half a foot step forward, and then a half a foot step, slide backwards. Okay, but think that we're always grounding the left leg to unweight the right, so we can take that small step forward, and grounding that left leg so we can take that small step backward. And as you get more comfortable, you can make that step larger but not wider, because wider is going to make it a much more simple exercise, and we want to challenge. And if you feel like you're getting a little wobbly, that's good. We need to engage that wobble a little bit in order to build balance. If it was just simple and you didn't have to think about it, then it wouldn't be worth doing. It wouldn't actually provide you benefit. Let's try the same thing on the other side, and we'll see if it's the same on the other side. We'll start with feet together so they're touching. If they touch, if they don't touch, just as close as you comfortably can get. And then we're just going to slide the left heel to the middle of the right foot. And if you're comfortable there, we're going to slide that left heel to the side of the big toe. And if you feel wobbly there and you want to stop, that's where you stop, that's fine. But if you want to keep going, that left heel now in front of the other foot so that you're standing as though you were standing on a tightrope at the circus. And then we're going to ground that right leg and we're going to step back toe to heel. And we're going to step forward heel to toe and backward toe to heel. And forward heel to toe. And remember, the focus isn't on the foot that's moving. It's very tempting to think about the moving foot. The focus is on the leg that is grounded. Whatever's touching the floor is the thing that's serving you, that's allowing you to stay up. So the more grounded you feel into that right leg as we're doing this, elongating long and strong leg through the ground is going to make it simpler for you to be able to take those slow, smooth, and controlled steps. You keep going. I'm going to demonstrate a little bit of the lower difficulty exercise. So it's that left heel that's going to the middle of the right foot. And then we're going to slide back so that the left big toe goes back to the right heel. So you're just going to feel that you step forward, a little half step forward, and a half step back, making sure that you're keeping your feet narrow and that you're always grounding through that standing leg. All right, and we'll stop and then we'll enjoy standing on wide feet, wide base, where you feel nice and solid and feel connected to the floor. Okay, I love this series because it challenges almost all the aspects of balance. It challenges weight shifting, it challenges grounding the leg, it challenges twisting the head, it challenges narrow base of support, all in a very brief time frame with no equipment needed that you could do anytime, anywhere, as long as you had the ambition and you had the interest. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank yourself for taking the time to do these challenging activities. Not everyone will do them, but you did, and you're going to be better for it. I'll see you next week with a whole new exercise teaching you how to move differently so you can feel better. Take care, everyone.